Imagine meeting a predator that already knows what you're going to do. It hunts as a family, learns from experience, and teaches the next generation to become even better. This isn't science fiction, it's the orca. To understand this predator, we must first look at its physical scale. It is a masterpiece of biological engineering, a black and white shadow built for pursuit, impact, and absolute control. This is an animal of extreme dimensions. At the absolute limit of their growth, a mature female can reach roughly 9 meters, or 30 feet, in length. The males are larger still, stretching to approximately 10 meters. That is 33 feet of streamlined muscle, weighing up to 10 tons. It places them among the largest toothed predators to have ever existed on Earth. And they move with terrifying velocity. In short, explosive bursts. This 10-ton frame can cut through the water at 56 kilometers per hour, 35 miles per hour. That speed makes them one of the fastest marine mammals in existence. From the frozen pack ice of the Arctic to the heavy swells of the Antarctic, they are everywhere. They patrol every single ocean on Earth, adapting effortlessly to the open sea, moving through polar ice fields, and hunting along temperate coastlines. Beneath the surface, the physical profile is unmistakable. A conical head houses 10 to 13 massive, interlocking teeth in each jaw, built to grip and tear. On the back of the mature male, a sword-like dorsal fin rises, sometimes exceeding 2 meters in height, slicing through the water like a sail. Yet, look past the massive frame, the speed, and the dark shadow. A chilling question remains. What makes this powerhouse more than just cold evolutionary instinct? The answer begins with a deception. We call them whales, but science calls them something else. Orchinus orca. They are the sole living species of their genus, and they do not belong to the true whales. Instead, they are the largest members of Delphinidae, the oceanic dolphin family. While they sit within the broader Odontoceti group of toothed whales, their skeleton, their ancestry, and their evolutionary traits are entirely dolphin. It is a strange biological contradiction. The world's ultimate apex predator is actually a giant dolphin. And this lineage changes everything. It means we cannot measure them merely by physical strength. Instead, we must look to the family tree of the ocean's most social, expressive creatures. Does this dolphin heritage hold the secret to the complex, mysterious mind we are about to encounter? To find out, we must look at what lies inside the skull of this predator. Inside is an organ weighing between 5 and 6 kilograms. It is a massive, highly convoluted structure, yielding one of the highest brain-to-body ratios among all marine mammals. But raw mass is not a guarantee of intellect. The true mystery is how that mass is organized and what it is capable of achieving. In controlled environments, these creatures have done something very few species on Earth can replicate. They look into a mirror and they recognize themselves. Rather than a physical reaction to an intruder, this interaction represents a calculated understanding of their own individual form. While science cautiously separates this from human-style self-awareness, it reveals a clear, undeniable sense of self. And that mind remembers. It holds an exceptional, long-term library of geography, prey movements, seasonal paths, and complex social relationships across decades. When conditions change, their decisions adapt. They display multi-step problem-solving and cooperative planning, manipulating their physical surroundings in ways that mimic tool use. They channel the water itself and bend their environment to their will through sheer physics, without needing to grasp external objects. They display behaviors that carry the distinct weight of emotion, structured around bonds that define their entire existence. Yet, the most unsettling aspect of this mind is hidden within their hours of rest. It is how they sleep. Because they are voluntary breathers, they cannot afford to lose consciousness. To fall completely asleep is to drown. So, they split the task. Electroencephalogram research reveals a remarkable neurological division. Unihemispheric slow-wave sleep. They shut down only one half of their brain at a time. While one cerebral hemisphere rests in a deep, restorative slow-wave state, the other remains fully awake, monitoring the dark ocean, guiding their movement, and managing voluntary respiration. Sometimes, a single open eye corresponds directly with the active hemisphere, watching for potential threats. Then, after a period of rest, the brain alternates. The sleeping side awakens, and the active side rests. They live their entire lives in this state of divided consciousness, remaining partially alert at every moment of their existence. It is an extraordinary evolutionary solution, but it raises a deeper, more haunting question about what this mind is doing with its constant, unbroken awareness. If an individual can hold this much cognitive power, can that intelligence become something larger? Can a single mind's discovery transcend the individual and become socially maintained group knowledge? For decades, science viewed the killer whale as a uniform predator, roaming the oceans driven by identical instincts. That assumption shattered in the 1970s. A Canadian marine biologist named Michael Bigg began studying wild pods in the Pacific Northwest. Instead of invasive tagging, Bigg focused on the distinct shapes of their dorsal fins and the gray saddle patch markings behind them. He realized these features were as individual as human fingerprints. The scientific community met Bigg's photographic cataloging with deep skepticism. Yet, as the years passed, his work proved that individual whales lived in highly stable, permanent family groups. Decades later, genetic testing vindicated his findings, confirming that these oceans do not hold one uniform species, but different populations known as ecotypes. An ecotype is a distinct group within a species with its own specialized habits. In the same waters, resident orcas eat almost nothing but salmon. Transient orcas, now called Bigg's orcas, ignore fish entirely, hunting marine mammals like seals, dolphins, and porpoises. Further out, offshore orcas hunt deep water sharks. In the frozen south, Antarctic orcas target penguins and seals. These groups share the same water, but never interbreed, never copy each other's vocals, and never cross dietary lines. It is as if they belong to entirely separate civilizations. They are not driven by genetic programming. Calves are not born knowing how to hunt sharks or seals. They learn it. This is socially transmitted knowledge, a rare occurrence of true culture in the animal kingdom. But how do these ancient, learned traditions manifest when the ocean grows quiet and a pod begins to move? A single shadow glides toward the shallow surf of Patagonia. It accelerates, rushing directly onto the loose gravel beach, completely exposing its massive body to the open air. This is intentional stranding, a highly specialized beach hunting technique. It is a high-risk maneuver where a single miscalculation or poorly timed wave means a slow, suffocating death on dry land. The hunter grabs its prey, a sea lion pup, and wriggles backward, using the receding tide to slide safely back into deep water. Thousands of miles away, in the frozen Southern Ocean, a different strategy unfolds. 4 individuals align in a horizontal wall. They charge an ice flow in perfect synchronization, diving at the last second to force a powerful wave of water across the ice, sweeping a resting seal directly into the sea. This coordinated ice flow attack requires flawless timing, spatial awareness, and distinct, flexible roles. During these strikes, some individuals act as barriers to block escape routes, while others coordinate as flankers, pursuers, or feeders. In other regions, they deploy carousel feeding, spinning schools of fish into dense, glowing bait balls before stunning them with explosive tail slaps. Calves swim closely alongside, watching these maneuvers. They copy the movements, practicing in the wake of the adults, and gradually taking on responsibility. These local hunting techniques are learned behaviors. They persist within social groups across generations, stored as shared memory rather than genetic instinct. But these complex strategies raise a deeper question. In an ocean without written records, who holds the blueprints for these hunts? Who preserves this knowledge across decades? The answer lives in a system of absolute loyalty, a matriarchal empire where family members remain together, side by side, for their entire lives. At the center of this society is the mother. Her bond with her offspring never dissolves. Sons and daughters swim, hunt, and rest with her from birth until her final breath. Around her, a network of older siblings and grandmothers shares the burden of survival, cooperatively raising calves, dividing food, and teaching the specific paths of their ancestors. In these pods, grandmothers are the guardians. While males typically live 30 to 60 years, females can live past 90. Decades before they die, these matriarchs stop reproducing. They undergo menopause, a rare evolutionary puzzle found in only a few mammalian species. Free from the physical demands of breeding, they dedicate their remaining decades to leading the pod, guiding the family through changing seas. The strength of these social bonds was laid bare in 2018. A female known as Tahlequah gave birth to a calf that survived for only minutes. For 17 days, she carried the lifeless body on her rostrum, pushing it through the water for 1,600 kilometers. In 2025, she was observed performing the behavior again, carrying another deceased calf for more than 11 days. Science cannot measure her internal emotions, and we cannot assume human-like grief. Yet, this prolonged carrying suggests a powerful, enduring attachment. Within these permanent families, shared memory does not just live in action, it is carried in the sounds they make. The dark ocean is not silent. It is a canvas of sound. Orcas perceive their world through hundreds of documented vocalizations, divided into distinct acoustic tools. High-frequency echolocation clicks shoot into the blackness, acting as a sensory flashlight to map the physical environment. But for the social world, they speak. They use short, tonal whistles and complex pulsed calls. Within a single resident pod, scientists have cataloged a stable repertoire of roughly 25 discrete call types. These are not random noises. Each family speaks its own distinct dialect, complete with family-specific calls and regional accents. A calf does not inherit these sounds genetically. It must learn them over years, mimicking the voices of its mother and closest companions. These dialects can remain unchanged for decades, yet they subtly shift when pods interact, evolving through social contact. Some researchers hypothesize that certain sounds are signature calls, acoustic identities acting almost like individual names. This interpretation is highly contested, and science cautions against equating it with human language. Today, neural networks and artificial intelligence are being used to decode these massive acoustic archives. But as we struggle to parse these signals, a haunting question remains. When a single voice falls silent, Is an entire dialect lost? Does the death of an individual permanently erase a piece of an ancient, oral culture? In the cold waters of Twofold Bay, Australia, a relationship existed that challenged the predatory instinct of the wild. For more than 3 decades, a wild orca known as Old Tom led a pod that actively cooperated with human whalers. He herded baleen whales into the bay, signaled the boats with powerful tail slaps, and even towed whalers by gripping their harpoon ropes. When Tom died in 1930, a rare bridge between our two species was lost, and it has not returned. A healthy adult orca has no consistent natural predator. They are the undisputed rulers of the global ocean, yet they are highly vulnerable to a threat they never evolved to fight: ourselves. The danger begins silently in their tissues. Industrial chemical pollutants like PCBs accumulate up marine food webs, concentrating in orca blubber. In some populations, these toxins exceed 200 micrograms per kilogram of lipid weight, impairing immune systems and halting reproduction. At the same time, our shipping lanes and sonar systems fill the dark water with acoustic noise, blinding their echolocation and disrupting the quiet they need to communicate. In the Pacific Northwest, these pressures have pushed an entire culture to the brink. Starved by declining salmon runs, disrupted by vessel traffic, and injured by ship strikes, the southern resident population plummeted from 98 individuals in 1995 to just 74 in 2020. In concrete tanks, the pressure takes a different form. For decades, we captured them for entertainment, placing them in confined environments that cause severe social deprivation, restricted movement, and intense psychological distress. The release of the documentary Blackfish in 2013 exposed this reality, centering on Tilikum, a captive bull associated with 3 human fatalities. The film ignited a global debate on the ethics of captivity, eventually forcing SeaWorld to end its orca breeding program in 2016. But the threat in the wild remains. We are dismantling their food supply, poisoning their blood, and crowding their oceans. Perhaps the ultimate mystery of the orca is not how they hunt or how they sleep, but what they reveal about the nature of mind. We have spent centuries looking to the stars for intelligent life, ignoring the minds swimming right beside us. It is an intellect that evolved completely separate from ours, proving that intelligence evolved more than once on Earth in extraordinary ways. The question is no longer whether they can understand us, but whether we have the wisdom to let them survive. Vocal dialects, coordinated hunting, and grandmother leadership are forcing researchers to reconsider how they classify these animals. Some propose splitting resident and transient ecotypes into separate species, naming them Orchinus ater and Orchinus rectipinus. Complete genetic isolation is unproven, and low-level gene flow remains. It is social tradition, rather than physical boundaries, that keeps them apart. When science speaks of wild orca culture, it means socially transmitted behaviors, not human-like civilizations. Their emotional lives remain a cautious interpretation of observed behavior. Yet the open question lingers. Perhaps a complex mind did not evolve only once on this planet. We are left looking into the dark water, realizing the ocean's greatest mystery is the intelligent family life that has lived right beside us all along. The dark water now holds a mirror to our own humanity. As their oceans grow louder and their lineages fade, we face a chilling choice. We aren't just deciding the fate of an apex predator. We are deciding if we have the grace to let a parallel intellect survive. Join the conversation in the comments below.